What's confusing is all of those things that you just said are also included in the racketeering count.
So we don't know what the vote is.
So we don't know what the vote is. It's hard to read what they...
The desperate 911 call comes from inside Michael Jackson's rented Beverly Hills mansion. It is just before...
Girl, when I tell you Cassie didn't just spill the tea, she dumped the whole damn kettle on the industry. And no, this isn't some cryptic lyric or shady subtweet. She went full throttle, on record, lips moving, no filter. Cassie literally just said what no one else dared to whisper in the shadows. This bombshell? Oh honey, it didn't just rock the tabloids, it cracked the whole damn foundation of music history. According to Cassie, the same Cassie who stood beside Diddy for years, rode private jets, smiled for cameras, lived the dream. She says that man, Mr. Bad Boy himself, was sent to take out Michael Jackson. No metaphors, no career assassination kind of cute talk. She means eliminate, physically, as in the king of pop had to go because he knew too much. He had become a threat, too powerful, too independent, too woke to the backdoor dealings and puppet strings of the elite music world. And Diddy? He wasn't just some bystander. According to Cassie, he was the man, the one picked to get the job done. In exchange, fame, fortune, immortality.
Done all I could do. I told the truth, and I have faith the truth will prevail.
According to the police affidavit, Conrad Murray told detectives he'd been treating Michael Jackson for insomnia for weeks. He said he'd tried lots of other but that the pop star demanded propofol. On the day Conrad Murray said he gave Jackson 25 milligrams of it.
This isn't some messy gossip whispered at a Hollywood after-party. Oh no. This was the kind of dirty secret that usually gets buried 6 feet under. But now, with Diddy's empire crumbling like a stale cookie, lawsuits flying, court dates stacking, the truth is crawling out from the shadows. Cassie's words? They're not just whispers anymore. They're a damn tsunami, and if there's even a grain of truth in her story, we're not talking about shady contracts or rigged charts anymore. We're talking about a planned, strategic, and horrifying takedown of the most famous man to ever moonwalk across a stage. Let's talk timing. June 25th, 2009, the day Michael Jackson died. Everyone thought he was prepping for a comeback, right? Wrong. Michael wasn't just planning a tour. He was engineering a complete power shift in the industry. The This Is It concerts? Not just shows, leverage. He had control of music catalogs worth billions. Beatles, his own work, a treasure chest of music gold, and then it starts getting straight out of a suspense thriller. Michael believed people were watching him. He told LaToya, "They're going to get me for my catalog." He left frantic notes everywhere. Paranoid or just paying attention?
It's a lot more complicated than just Dr. Murray was at his bedside when he circumstances had been leading up to this for years.
And here's where it goes straight into the twilight zone. Cassie claims, and some even say Michael's last words confirmed it, Diddy knew too much. Not Diddy knew the biz. Number Diddy knew too much. And right after that, Michael was gone. Official story, sedatives, a sketchy doctor. But come on, that man, Dr. Conrad Murray, had no business dosing hospital-grade meds in a freaking bedroom. So who was really calling the shots? What if Murray was just a puppet, a fall guy in a deeper, darker game? Because right after MJ passed, guess who skyrocketed back to center stage? Diddy. Bad Boy blew up, Xerox sales shot through the roof, magazine covers, fashion shows, fragrance deals. It wasn't just a comeback, it was a damn coronation. And for those watching closely, it didn't feel like luck. It felt like a reward, a contract fulfilled, a job done.
Surprised by the evidence that's already coming out in the criminal trial?
No, I'm not surprised. I experienced some of those things.
And let's be clear, this ain't no Reddit rabbit hole. This story is whispered by producers, ex-bodyguards, industry veterans who've seen things that would keep you up at night. One former LA road manager said he overheard Diddy talking about Michael's catalog just weeks before his death. Another claims secret ownership transfers of ATV Publishing went through fast after MJ passed. Coincidence? You tell that to the Jackson family, the ones who believe Michael was absolutely set up. And Cassie? She wasn't some clueless girlfriend in the background. She was there. Grammy parties, private yachts, behind the scenes. She saw who came when the cameras were off. She knew who Diddy was working for, and now she's pointing fingers. Not vaguely, not lightly. She's surgical. She says Michael wasn't spiraling the way the media made it seem. He was waking up, ready to expose truths that would burn the entire industry down. And that made him dangerous. If Cassie's right, then Diddy wasn't just playing the music game. He was playing executioner.
The things that I experienced with him were monster-like. That stuff almost destroyed my life.
Now, if you think all this sounds too crazy to be real, remember this. Diddy's in jail right now, and not for some minor offense. Nah, his crimes are so messy and massive it took 2 federal agencies to even untangle it all. And look around. His circle? Disappearing. His allies? Dead silent. And Cassie? She ain't hiding. She's naming names. And the creepiest part? Michael knew this movie before it even started. Paris Jackson told Rolling Stone. Her father said, "They're going to get me." And remember, the coroner ruled his death a homicide. Let that sink in. Not natural causes, not accidental overdose. Homicide. And yeah, they pinned it on Murray, but come on, who hired him? Who built the comeback tour? Who had everything to gain if that tour never happened? Because one canceled tour, that's tragic, but one canceled tour followed by a massive power shift and catalog redistribution, that smells like a freaking setup.
How many people came through his orbit? How many people could this have happened to? And how did he get away with it?
Now here comes the darkest twist. Multiple people close to MJ say he made one final panicked phone call just days before he died. The message? If something happens to me, Diddy knows too much. Yeah, let that chill your spine. Because Michael's empire wasn't just music. It was a fortress of ownership. Beatles hits, Elvis tracks, Little Richard, half of Sony's entire vault. His publishing power was volcanic, over $1 billion worth. But more than money, it made him untouchable. And that's what scared the elite. He wasn't just successful, he was the boss. And in a system built on silence and submission, that kind of control was never going to be allowed.
Me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil.
She testified, excuse me, that she was Diddy's ex-assistant. She said he her, sexually assaulted her in various ways multiple times. He exacted unbelievable violence against her, threatened her, one point allegedly threatened to take her phone and use anything.
He was warned, y'all. Michael told people straight up, they're gonna do me in. And he believed it was because of the catalog. Sony tried to buy it. He said no. He tightened his grip. And then everything changed. His team shifted. New handlers popped up. Strange advisors came and went. And right there during this chaotic reshuffle, who starts rising again? Diddy. Suddenly everywhere, and closely connected to the same execs who had the most to gain if Michael Jackson just vanished. Cassie's claims? They're not just about betrayal. They're about succession. The passing of the crown. The moment Michael's voice went silent, guess who got the mic? Sony snatched a chunk of that legendary catalog. And guess who expanded inside Sony right after? Diddy. Deals, branding, executive meetings. Not just music, power. Some called it hustle, but others whispered what we're now all wondering. Was it all arranged?
Thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, like, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks, it's every day, every hour.
I want to start with alleged victim number 4, who goes by the name Mia. It's an alias. She is one of the people who is testifying where the judge has granted her anonymity. She is on the stand, but everybody in the courtroom has been warned. Do not reveal her identity. Do not even give a physical.
But here's where it gets sicker. Let's talk about the freak-offs. Yeah, that word that used to float around like some nasty urban legend, it's real. It's been dragged into court documents, exposed by former assistants, former lovers, even federal investigators. We're talking about multi-day ritualistic sessions, not parties, sessions of domination and humiliation. All under Diddy's control. These weren't about fun. These were about power, about owning the room, owning everyone in it. Now pause, because doesn't that ring eerily similar to Michael's own scribbled messages? Those notes found all over his house in the hills? He felt watched, manipulated, drugged, surrounded by strangers with hidden motives. Michael was terrified, not just of one person, but of the system around him. A system built to trap, to silence, to own. He knew it. He wrote it down, and just like Cassie years later, he felt like property. Cassie's stories, when you strip away the celebrity glitz, it's the same playbook. Isolation, control, gaslighting. She says Diddy cut her off from everyone, told her what to wear, what to say, when to breathe. In public, the power couple. Behind the scenes, a puppet show, and she was the marionette. And when you read Michael's notes, they scream the same energy. They're trying to destroy me. I don't feel safe. Sound familiar? This isn't about two celebrities with tragic endings. This is about a machine that builds icons, then breaks them when they get too close to the truth. Diddy rose, Michael fell, and now we're seeing the cracks in the system that made them both. One lawsuit at a time, one exposed lie at a time. That shiny image Diddy spent decades crafting, it's falling apart. And as it crumbles, the timing of it all starts to look a lot less random. Let's rewind. Michael's last rehearsals, June 2009. The footage shows a man who's pushing through, focused but clearly worn down, exhausted, haunted. One dancer later said he didn't seem in control, maybe because he wasn't. That footage from just 2 days before he died, fans have dissected it frame by frame. It's not about the dancing anymore. It's about the energy, the fear behind his eyes, the delays in his movement, the cracks in his usually razor-sharp timing. Michael Jackson, the greatest performer on earth, didn't look like himself. His body was moving, but his spirit? It looked trapped. And the eyes don't lie. People keep pointing to how often he glanced off stage like someone or something I was watching. Like he wasn't alone in that room, even when no one was supposed to be there. His smile? Gone the second the music stopped. Experts say he was showing signs of anticipatory anxiety. And fans? They go further. They believe Michael wasn't just tired, he was cornered, threatened, fighting for control of his body, his mind, his future. And let's not forget, in the weeks leading up to the tour, Michael clashed with handlers constantly. He didn't want meds, he didn't want interference, but they kept pushing. Planning documents leaked later show major tour decisions being made without his consent. So that rehearsal footage, it's more than behind the scenes. It's a cry for help in plain sight. The pauses, the broken notes, the strained voice. Fans say it was him begging in silence, knowing he was spiraling but unable to stop it. And the vibes in that room, you could cut them with a knife. Assistants were nervous, staff hovered, rehearsals stretched past midnight, and Michael, that man could feel everything. He absorbed energy like a sponge. And that room, it was dripping with tension. Michael's style was always intuitive. His performances were reflections of his soul, and in those final days, that reflection was fractured. You can see it in his eyes, in his stance, in his silence. No one's saying the footage solves the mystery, but it adds another layer, another piece of a chilling puzzle. It shows us a man who felt something coming, who tried to take back control and failed. And when you place that footage next to his private notes, phone calls, desperate last moves to regain autonomy, it doesn't look like show prep anymore. It looks like a warning. The last one he was able to send. Not in lyrics, not in interviews, but in glances, in hesitation, in silence. Which brings us to the day itself, June 25th. A doctor, a drug, a death, a delay in calling for help that makes no sense. A man dying in bed while the people around him did nothing. Conrad Murray took the fall, but even he admitted Michael was terrified, begging to escape, warning people about those in his circle, and the coroner ruled it a homicide, but the motive still locked away behind sealed files and broken NDAs. Now listen, no one's saying Diddy gave the injection. That's not the point. Cassie's claim is that Diddy wasn't just in the system, he was a weapon of it, a tool. Tools don't ask questions, they follow orders, charm, distract, clear the way for the real players to reach what they're after. Michael's catalog, his empire, because getting rid of MJ, that wasn't about ending a career, that was about unlocking a vault. So let's look at the aftermath. One man gone, one man rises, one catalog changes hands, one empire dies, another explodes, and smack in the middle, 2 lives torn apart, 2 trails of trauma, and a long, dark hallway of power, secrets, and control. Cassie's still standing, still talking. Her testimony keeps surviving the lawsuits, the spin, the denial machines. And if she's telling the truth, then Michael's final words weren't paranoia. They were prophecy. And Diddy's empire? It may not just be cracking from scandal. It may have been built on something far worse, a sacrifice. So now the question isn't what happened to Michael. The question is, who else is being silenced right now? Whose truth is still buried under all that glitter and gloss? Because the system, it's still working, still spinning, still choosing who gets the stage and who gets erased. And you've heard the whispers, you've seen the cracks. Now we're asking you, who would you point to? Which artists? Which executives? Who do you believe? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Be loud, be bold, because in this business, nothing is ever what it seems.